Oh, YouTube. Still laying in bed here. I woke up abruptly after finally falling asleep at like after 11 something. I don't remember. But, I was thinking about this. Sorry about that. I was thinking about this. I was watching, which was, they say it was a live stream, but it was only people talking live, and the video portion was actually already recorded. Okay. I felt like they were trying to prove a point there for some reason, but it was all about, it was on the World Science Fair channel, and it was all about time and how brain works and things like that. And, one physicist, I think two physicists, and there was a lady on there that I don't know what her exact title was, but very beautiful lady though. And I missed the first little bit about it, stuff like that, but they were all just talking about time and how different people perceive time, and how the brain can sometimes perceive it differently depending on where you're at, and just all this different stuff. You'll have to go back and watch it. That's just that. And I think it kind of goes along with what I've been saying here. This whole, if you can control the past, you can control the future, and if you can control the future, you can control the present. Okay. I don't think anybody quite understands what it is that I'm saying there. I mean, I feel like people are thinking I'm speaking about some, mystical thing. Oh, there's my belly growling. You might have heard that. Worked my brain this morning already. I ain't even out of bed. Can't barely open my eyes. But I think everybody thinks that it's some weird mystical thing that I'm talking about. And it's not. Okay, what I'm saying, what it all is boiling down to, because nobody has said anything, even the smart people out there that should be able to figure it out, I feel like haven't figured it out, because if they had, they would have acknowledged it in some way. And I'm not seeking self-gratification or anything, but all I'm saying is, religion is one of the largest things in this world that divides people. There are individual religions, and then there are different books of the Bible, and there are different versions of the Bible, and there's the Quran, and there's the Torah, and there's so many different books and beliefs out there. But realistically, Christianity, whatever version of it you're looking into, whether it's Catholic or whether it's Southern Baptist, which are one and the same in my opinion, because they're my belly. What I'm saying is, during that time period, there were people on the planet, okay, that were smart enough and well off enough that they were able to sit and ponder, okay, and sit and ponder. And when all these things started happening, apparently, and I'm going to say apparently, and all these people started writing all these books. Well, they're all individual books, and there's the emerald tablets and stuff like that, and then there's that the Nag Hammadi books that we don't even know how many have been missed, and blah 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 blah. It was a whole lot of people writing down a bunch of information because they were figuring out language and writing skills and things and learning how to put down their interpretations of what's going on. So when I say controlling the past, what I am saying is that at some point before, and I'm only going to the Bible because I don't know a whole lot about the other shit, the other religions and stuff like that. I know some stuff about them, but I was predominantly raised in a world where Christianity is it. Okay? So, what I'm saying is, in the past, when all these works were being done, I'm saying that they understood how to think into the future far enough, even if that was by, 100 years at that time. Hell, I could think 100 years. I won't be alive, but I can think as far into 100 years as possibly possible. There's no way I'm going to live to be 131 years old. That's just outrageous. And they seen a potential. Okay? And if you can look that far into the future, and hell, if I wanted to, I could probably look even further into the future, but I would have to depend upon someone in the future to be willing to work for me, which is where I believe the term legacy came in. Alright? That is when, if you controlled the past, you can control the future. Okay? It's not that complicated. It's not this mystical thing that I feel like people are trying to make it out of. Okay? So, let's say, we'll break it down even simpler. You're a 20-year-old man. Alright? You're coming into your own, you're having your own little thoughts and blah, 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 blahs, and you see the world a certain way, or you have this like deep inclination to put your thoughts down on paper, okay? Because as soon as the Bible became the Bible, the Bible was written way before it became what we know as the Bible, and they were individual books written by individual people, and it kind of changed the world as we know it. Okay? Changed the world as we know it. But as soon as that started happening, we started progressing very, very fast. But there was also a lot of, witch hunts and unnecessary people dying in the name of God. Like, in the name of God. And that's never going to be right, to go out and kill hundreds of thousands of people in the name of your creator. Because if you're killing those people, then those peoples were created by your creator. So, you have to depend on, you're the 20-year-old male. You have to depend on a potential child, or, an apprentice that you train, later in life to carry on your works. And that's what controlling the future is, okay? And if you can get that person into the future, continuing your work for you, even 2,000 years later, okay, you have virtually controlled the present time from the past. Whether you're physically in the present or if you're physically bouncing back and forth between the past and the present, which is never going to be possible. And I'll explain why here in just a second. Okay, so it's not some mystical thing, folks. It's some guys or gals, some people way back in the day seen the possibility, and they started implementing certain things in the past that could be carried on into the future, their future. Who cares how distant that future is? Their future. The future is 2 minutes from now, 5 minutes from now, a million years from now. The future is the right then and there, which makes it the present. Right? So there is no future in the way that people think. There is, but it's only there because we believe that it's going to be there. Okay? So I'm saying the group of people way, 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 way back in the day seen a potential in their minds that was so profound for their time that it shaped the world as we know it. It was so profound that it changed the entirety of history. But in order for that to have happened, they had to be able to depend on people from their future. So they come up with this idea. They've sat down. They've worked out this idea. Well, at a certain point, they're going to die. So they have to depend on the next generation, the future, to take care of this. And that's why I'm saying their idea and their thoughts were so profound and such a world of youngness. People that were, they're probably very smart, but not in the ways that the people that seen this. And that's why they were able to control the future, because they were able to find people that were willing to carry this legacy on for them. And that's why those people and their thoughts and their ideas were able, and this is, you can almost implement this into any great scientific field as well. Any scientific field. Because all of these scientists, they're all just expanding on what those scientists back in the day did. They put in a certain, implement of thought into the conscious stream. So therefore, they were trying to shape the future. Okay? And if you can shape the future, then that person can control what's happening in the present. That's all it is. You can think that's mystical if you want, but it's not. It's the power of the human consciousness. These people were trying to say that consciousness is, not the only thing the brain does, and it's not the most special thing about the brain. Okay? Yeah, that may be true, but the brain is still a physical item. Consciousness is just there. It doesn't exist, but it exists. And that's why it's even more special than people want to give it credit for. And it doesn't matter if we all bleed the same color, we all have the same organs. Some people may have blonde hair, some people may have blue hair. Some people have red hair. Some people, I almost said red eyes, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. You know, but blue eyes, brown eyes, green eyes. Some people are a little darker than others. You know, some people have freckles. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are all physical traits. Consciousness is the one thing that ties us together because it's neither here nor there. It's matter that doesn't really matter, like, in the grand scheme of things. All right. Well, then they started getting in. I hope y'all get that. Y'all understand that. And if you don't, ask questions, and I'll sit down and I'll see if I can try and go through it a little bit better for you. But then the lady, I didn't catch her name. I'm horrible with names and blah, blah, blah. And they were, yeah. Okay. And she was talking about different ways that cultures perceive time and stuff like that. And, you know, honestly, the most interesting one, the one that she seems to know the most about, is, you know, these tribes that, you know, everything's based on directions, you know, left to right, right to left, north and south. And, you know, she was talking about how a picture changes in her mind and once she realized it, and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so, and I'll probably sit down and actually show you all the math that I've done. But that'll tie into what I'm saying right here. You know, regardless of what you do, okay? So let's say you're in California, okay? And you're at the edge of the California and Arizona border, okay? And you're looking east, okay? Realistically, you only have three directions laying in front of you. You can head north. Okay. You can head south. Or you can head east. I mean, I guess you could technically head northeast and southeast, but that's still north, east, and south. Okay, because if you turn your body facing southeast, you can still only go south, east, and northeast. Alright? And you can't walk backwards forever. So you can never be in the east and head backwards to the west. You just can't do it. So everything behind you doesn't technically exist. Alright? So the only reason is because you believe that it actually exists behind you. But let's say you're on the border of California and Arizona and you're facing west. You can only go north, west, south, or if you slightly rotate a little bit, you can still only go north, northwest, west. See what I'm saying? It's still a division of three. You see? Like, it's just, and that's where mathematics is so important in the world. I always hated math growing up, but, you know, I think fractions are absolute bullshit. I think we should do away with fractions. Like, I feel like it's just waste of space dealing with fractions. Because you're trying to destroy space by saying only X percentage of it, exists. See what I'm saying? Now, fractions are only really good for things like, you did 100 surveys and 25 of them out of the 100 were, not the same. But saying that, you've got 17 and 13/16, that's a waste of space. You're 3/16, so you're pretty much saying that this between 14 and 15, all right, 3/16 of that just doesn't exist. Well, if it doesn't exist, how are you ever going to get to the next number? How are you ever going to go from 14 to 15 if you're denying that that space exists? Okay? So, math and time is very important, okay? And, it's like I was talking to this dude the other night, and I was talking about I fixed time. When I said I fixed time, I didn't mean that I fixed, like, time as, we know it. No, I meant modern time. See, people take everything too literally. They don't stop and think about the different options and different things in which what the person is saying can actually mean and conceptualize that. And to not feel dumb for some reason, you don't ask, will you clarify that for me? I just mean the modern 24-hour cycle that most humans on this planet live in. Alright? And I still got a little bit of the math to do. I got to try to break it down on the, the yearly scale, which I'm still trying to kind of figure out how I'm going to do that. But I was just talking about on the basic 24-hour timeline. Alright? Like, to fit into a never-ending flow and sequential pattern. That's it. Because if life is supposed to be about balance and flow and unity and, patterns that are reoccurring, if you break our time down on the vortex math scale, the way that we look at time in a normal 24-hour day, I mean, I guess it works, but there's no actual repeating pattern to it. It just stops abruptly. Twice. It doesn't flow like you believe that it does. Like, if every number pretty much on the face of the planet, and I've done a couple of sheets worth of numbers, and if every number on the face of the planet can be broken down to 1 through 9 consistently, then how is that not an underlying pattern? See what I'm saying? Like, I guess, leave some comments if you find this interesting. I mean, I'm going to sit down and show you all this here before too long, but I'm just not quite there yet. Like, it's a lot to take in, and I want to make sure that I have it down completely before I physically show it to you. But just because I don't have it written down completely doesn't mean that I don't feel it inside. Like, people take for granted sometimes what their mind is trying to tell them. And I think, just like I said something to somebody the other day, I don't remember the exact wording, but, it was like, matter only matters because we make matter matter. What does that mean to you? Faith, in my opinion. This all works because we believe that it does, and that is the greatest faith of them all. Right? So, sit and ponder what I said. If you're seeing this, sit and ponder it. For real. Think about it. It's not this mystical thing that everybody tries to make it out to be. Alright? And leave some comments. Ask some questions or something. Like, I know I did this a while back or whatever, blah, 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 but, that's neither here nor there. Like, if you understood all of the things that I feel like I've done in my life, you would be bogged down like I am right now. Especially having to deal with the fact that apparently I'm just too good at too many things, is what I've been told numerous times in the past couple of years. So, if you had done as many different things as I feel like I have done inside, then you would understand why it's difficult and why I have strange thoughts. Maybe that's just the point in which I am at in this world is I, I've done so many physical things that it's time to sit and think. It's that simple, you know? So, you'll take it easy. Get back to me if you have any questions or want me to explain, or call me crazy if you want. And I'll see you later.